Mate, have you seen my HSK Pro anywhere? I need to send that back to Gwolves like lively. No bother, I found it and stuck it on charge down behind you. Nah, bruv, you didn't. What? Super important 30-second community message before we start this review. We've probably all seen the Reddit pictures of batteries ablaze like a Hindenburg blimp, with Gwolves since informing us that it was the fault of a dodgy bunch of Shenzhen's finest batteries from a new supplier that they've since parted ways with. They are currently in the process of giving everyone out a replacement mouse with an altogether less lethal battery installed. How lovely. Memes aside, this does mean there's likely to be a lot of sneaky beavers trying to sell off their black market peripheral warheads on eBay and Mouse Market when the replacements start to arrive. If you are planning to pick up a Pro 4K, please buy it new from either the Gwolves site or reputable retailer, use code GETREVIEWS, whenever you do, and enjoy gaming a long and healthy life with all of your digits still attached. Gwolves, straight up, you guys are absolutely wilding out there beyond the Great Bamboo Curtain. I don't know how much snuff is being huffed in your Beijing labs, but since swapping factories with the HSK Plus, you have only dropped banger after banger mouse. No pun intended with the exploding units. Too soon. The HSK Pro 4K is a $33.95 powered 26 gram 4000 Hz monster of a mouse packed into a shell that at a push you could probably cavity smuggle into your local penitentiary. And as much as I love to roast the guys, we've somehow jumped into the strangest of all possible timelines where Gwolves are not only one of the most exciting brands in peripherals, they're also dropping back to back first of their kind, experimental and cutting edge products, going toe to toe and swinging on industry giants like Razer with their 4000 Hz wireless tech. So if you want to save yourself a few minutes, sure, it's safe to say that I'm kind of all about the little HSK Pro 4K, but what else should you know before you make a purchase decision for yourself? Specs and price for the mouse will be up on the screen right now, and as you can see for yourself, both of them are pretty stacked. Unboxing with Gwolves remains an almost religious experience, with some bits included in here that I'm sure they found in a drawer in the factory and decided to just YOLO it into the bag for the lulz. Main attraction first, Return of the King. The prestigious makeup brush is included again after a painful absence in the HTS Plus. We also get 2 charging cords, one short rubber one for 4000 Hz stability and a flexible woven chap for everything else. A sachet of Channel number 5 fragrance, clearly emblazoned with the warning avoid child contact, which I think is just great advice for life in general, to be fair. 2 of the classic Gwolves blue spatulas to turn the mouse off and on. A base sticker. 2 spare sets of PTFE skates, which also include a sensor ring should you choose to apply it. 2 baffling micro USB to USB-C adapters for all 0 of the other USB-C items included in this box. The world's smallest set of grip tape, which looks cute AF. An alternative, smaller battery and tester if you want to take your life into your own hands and open the mouse up to reduce weight at the expense of battery longevity. But what you've all been waiting for is in my hand right now. It's 73mm long, pink and incredibly rigid. It's not often a mouse shocks me anymore, but the Pro 4K is one of those rare exceptions where the smallest of smiles unfurled across my old withered face when I pulled this little beastie out of the box. Though I am kind of convinced manufacturers are now actively trolling me, because whilst the 4K Pro is available in a few slick colour options, as you can see on the screen, I was sent the Girl Boss Candy Floss Pink. Thank you, Jim. I have to say though, even now after several days with this mouse on my desk, I am still shocked at how small this mouse is in every conceivable way. If you are over 4 feet tall, this is going to be an exclusively fingertip proposition for you. Dimensions are going to be up on the screen, but I also wanted to throw this alongside the other Gwolves mice that walked so the 4K Pro could run. Taking a look at it alongside its forebears, you can see how microscopic it is by comparison. It isn't only noticeably smaller in length, it's also fractionally narrower at the front and significantly lower to the pad, both on the clicks and the rear at the hump. There's barely any mouse there at all, and what I've found is that this does free up so many more fingertip positions where the hump of the other two intersected and made it feel more forced. Whilst it's smaller than its predecessors, our Short Queen is still 90% booty, with its widest and tallest points on the Pro 4K being right at its rear. I'm also informed if you're concerned about the sizing being a factor, you can play grip tape Jenga with the dots that gwolves provide, though what you gain in comfort, you lose in style and finesse, with your mouse looking like something out of a Goodwill store once stacked up. The build is also surprisingly great for a mouse this small. You don't feel you need to treat it with any more care than you would a full-size model. There is the teeniest amount of flex on the top of the hump if you pinch and squeeze the honeycomb booty like a deviant, but I doubt that'll ever be a factor with a legitimate gameplay grip. Likewise, you could make the case for side play, I guess, but my golden rule is to judge mouse quality in terms of what's felt in the hand during gameplay rather than in fabricated mouse tester scenarios. And in the case of our small queen here, there is no creak, rattle or flex, and the buttons feel locked in and sharp. Skates are the standard gwolves affair and you get enough of them in the box to never need to buy more, but I'm a filthy skate purist though and still use hyperglide dots on everything I have, so that's why the skates will look a little bit different on the model that you see in the video. What all this means is that the little Pro 4K is like peripheral meth for fingertip fiends. It's unlike any other wireless mouse I've used, and it's one of the first times I've legitimately felt more like I'm pointing at heads with my fingers rather than moving a mouse cursor. Having your fingers so low to the pad, coupled with the low weight of 26 grams, meant that even moving back to other small mice in the 40-gram weight range had them feeling bulky and less precise. In addition, gwolves once again providing side buttons and a wheel on a tiny mouse means you get all of the benefits without sacrificing that full mouse experience. The HSK Plus side buttons were small, poorly positioned towards the front of the mouse, at least for my grip, and felt difficult to find in gameplay. The Pro 4K completely resolves this with larger, well-separated buttons towards the back of the mouse that I had no issues using comfortably with my grip without impacting mouse stability. Your mileage will vary, of course, and some of you lesser specimens are likely to last less than 15 minutes alone with our tiny queen before your hands start cramping up. Oh, but I am made of sterner stuff. With my approximate 20 by 10 centimeter hands and scuffed IKEA grip, as it's been officially dubbed by our boy House, sub to House Gaming by the way, I've used the mouse non-stop since it arrived for work and gaming with 12+ hour sessions daily and had nothing but comfort and a deepening affection for the little pink lady that I've been fingering. Shocking nobody. One of the headlines of the Pro 4K is its ability to track at 4K polling rate. My idiot's understanding of this is that your sensor should have 4 times as much tracking data as it does versus a 1000 Hz counterpart. This should, in theory at least, provide more accuracy in the translation between hand movement and cursor position. Will you notice it in game? Probably not. Is it worth halving your battery life from 70 to 35 hours? Probably not. Is it a flex though? Almost definitely. And if, like me, you're happy to play hand grenade roulette with your mouse battery and leave it charging on USB overnight when you're done for the day, then even 35 hours at 4000 Hz is probably long enough to sustain even the most squalid and degenerate Adderall-fueled gaming binges you could possibly hope to have. Although taking this thing to 4000 Hz will require another infamous gwolf software install. This time the offending app is named Mouse HTS, all one word. Shocking because number one, that's not English, and number two, as far as I'm aware, this isn't an HTS. Regardless, it's functional in a gwolves kind of way, with settings for button mapping, DPI motion sync, lift-off distance, and a lucky dip battery indicator that apparently shows whatever it feels like at the time. Finally, it has the pole rate slider that goes from 125 Hz on the right the way up to the sacred 2000 and 4000 Hz limits. Also a debounce time slider with an exciting bonus Da Vinci code to crack, with letters ranging from A through E to choose from rather than the altogether too obvious choice of providing the numbers. It's not entirely perfect though, even ignoring the part-time hand grenade risk. gwolves decided to help their unsung heroes in the factory to place the skates on the bottom by adding plastic nubbins to the base which stick out like tiny sharp cubes. If you're using an extra soft base on a mousepad and have a heavy-handed Winston grip, there is a very real concern that these nubbins could scratch or at worst tear the weave of your pad. Lastly, and this is more of a mouse nerd complaint for those who like to get all up inside their little mouse's guts, the screws used are tiny and chew on the plastic body like a hungry pit bull, threading easily and getting stuck into the base. Before we wrap this up, it's time to mention its closest parallel shape and competitor from the Germans, the Zaunkönig M2K. The M2 Kanye was an over $350, now out of production, handmade 24-gram wired fingertip mouse from 2 German brothers. If you wanted a tiny mouse with a small footprint and mid 20-gram weight, going wired, selling your kidney and paying the Germans were your only option. Until now. You've now got the M2K shape experience in plastic for a fraction of the price, at 4000 Hz, wireless, at 26 grams, with side buttons. Granted, with the Germans engineering, you're 100% less likely to have an electrical battery fire in your home versus the wonky pre-order units of the 4K Pro. But now that that's resolved and moving forward, I think it's going to be difficult to find reasons to pick the M2K over the 4K Pro, and that alone is a huge dub for gwolves on a mass production mouse. To wrap, it's no surprise, having basically shielded this little IED for the past several minutes, that this mouse is going to be my new firm main for the foreseeable future. To say gwolves' reputation has been entirely rehabilitated would be a bit of an overstatement when there's Reddit posts of people risking third-degree burns to use their products. But what we've seen are real steps forward in terms of both build quality, communication with the community, and delivering industry firsts. Memes aside, I hope that the unfortunate battery fiasco doesn't sink what should have been a real coming out moment for gwolves with the launch of the 4K Pro. And the mouse is undeniably one of, if not the best, fingertip mouse you can buy. And once the smoke from the battery fires clears, I'm sure people will look back positively on the launch. And I'd rather have a company that pushes limits, tries something new and slips, than one that plays it safe and drops clones on Amazon Marketplace. You either die a gwolf or you live long enough to see yourself become an HK Gaming. Like, sub, comment, keep a fire extinguisher by your desk, and I will hopefully see you all in the next.